Hello. Let's discuss some strategies specific to the verbal section. As far as the verbal and the reasoning section is concerned in CAT, it is 30 questions and 70 minutes. Before we actually discuss what the section looks like, it does not make great sense to move into a strategy. The section last year, from whatever the feedback that we could get out of multiple slots, has gotten wonderfully standardized. The 30 questions safely distributed into 21 questions of verbal ability and 9 questions of analytical or logical reasoning. Now that we are specifically discussing these 21 questions, it is also necessary that we know what the 9 questions of logical or analytical reasoning play a role of. Say for example, those 9 questions of analytical and logical reasoning are specifically into 4 sets, and these sets more or less play the role of a mood changer or probably something that engages you into the paper. The remaining 21 questions of verbal ability are also more or less standardized if you consider CAT 2012 into picture. Approximately 9 to 10 questions are of reading comprehension, which are safely divided into 3 RCs, that is what you call reading comprehension as. These 3 RCs are followed either by 3 questions or 4 questions, and the standard format was either a 3 plus 3 plus 3 or a 3 plus 3 plus 4. If we keep aside these 9 to 10 questions, there were 3 questions of Parajumbles, which were arranging the sentences to form a coherent paragraph. 3 questions were of logical continuation. If we say logical continuation, we have to find out the sentence that continues a given paragraph either logically through an idea, concept or tense or some other kind of a logical continuation which you can figure out. One new pattern type which was found in the last 2 online CATs was a logical discontinuity. It was easy, but it was new, and therefore there was a set of an audience which did find it challenging. Logical discontinuity had 4 sentences in it, out of which we had to find out that one sentence which does not fit into the coherence when the remaining 3 are put in the form of a paragraph. That brings us to 9 to 10 questions of reading comprehension, 3 of Parajumbles, 3 logical continuity, 1 logical discontinuity, and after that approximately 2 questions of grammar, which were either in the form of sentence correction or error detection. 1 to 2 questions were of vocabulary. Now this vocabulary, though was not directly asked as vocabulary, it was either in the form of passage completion or in the form of a fill in the blanks. That other question could have been analogies. Apart from that, the 1 or 2 questions that were left were either of word usages or of phrasal verbs. With this kind of a paper pattern, what comes out very clearly is that these 90 questions can logically be separated into 3 particular things. One is logical reasoning of 9, reading comprehension of 9 or 10, and the remaining 10 to 12 of fast food or the kind of questions which we can claim as something which can be solved in around 1 to 1.5 minutes per question. Given this kind of a structure, now it has become, for the fact that it is predictable, we can go in with good amount of homework and a strategy and can sort of be at least 90% sure of hitting the strategy spot on in the paper. Forthcoming, we will be looking at strategies on how to approach this paper. Strategy number 2. This strategy will more be suitable for those people who have a very strong control over reading. Undoubtedly, these are the ones who are going to do far better than others. The ones who are confident about reading should ideally see off the most challenging part while you're fresh, and therefore you should start your section with RCs. The best of the kids who are the most prepared will obviously pick up a reading comprehension to start off and at least see through 2 out of the 3 RCs. 2 RCs which are cat level RCs, they have a reasonable potential in them to drain you off. If you see through 2 RCs, you have seen through somewhere close to 20-22 minutes of the test paper, and you're confident that whatever is left, there's just one particular RC which is going to demand 10 minutes from you. Apart from that, the remaining 40 minutes are your playground. When you say 2 RCs and you've taken up say 20-22 minutes from your schedule, it very much depends on your personal preferences on how do you want to move ahead from here. Though I think a good strategy would be to move in with a couple of sets of analytical or logical reasoning that again puts you back into a mood. And yes, for the fact that you started off with 2 RCs, you are that genre of an aspirant who feels that his reading is sound. So that means we'll again go back to an RC just after finishing those reasoning sets. So 2 reasoning sets should approximately take 4 per minute, so a total of 8 odd minutes. That means 20-22 minutes of reading comprehension and 2 sets of reasoning. We are done with say 30 minutes and we are safely done with somewhere close to 11 to 12 questions, but the ones which will take up the maximum amount of our time. Now we will go back to the 3rd RC, close off the 3rd RC, sitting at around 40 minutes, we are comfortable with just 2 sets of reasoning and the whole remaining fast food that we have. Again, here also, it is seen as a student pattern that he cannot really do every dense material together. So the next strategy would be a sub-strategy of keeping questions like logical continuation and parajumbles little spaced out, just to ensure that equal justice is done to both of them, and at least insert one logical reasoning set into this. If I give a consolidated strategy, it starts with 2 RCs, moves on to 2 reasoning sets, moves on to the 3rd RC, and then we start off with parajumbles and then a reasoning set and then logical continuity. And the single questions which are there, say for example phrasal verbs or word usages or fill in the blanks, these can be put in or rather placed across the second part of our paper, which is after completing the 3rd RC. In this way, we would have comfortably completed this section wherein we have provided actual density or intensity during the first 30 minutes, and then we are just cooling off in the last 40 minutes. This kind of a strategy specifically goes on for those kids who are extremely confident about their reading abilities. Again, to ensure that you get the best out of this strategy, ensure that you are at least solving 5 to 6 sectional or rather verbal sectionals, and do not retort to full length papers. Take sectionals, examine them, examine your performance for at least 5-6 of them. That will end up giving you what is your strategy fitting to your strengths and weaknesses. Happy practicing.